The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the bustling streets of Alexandria. Johnny, a tourist from the Netherlands, had always dreamed of exploring the ancient sites of this mesmerizing city. But my journey took a dark turn the moment I stepped into the furnished apartment I had rented for a 2-night stay in the neighborhood of Alsafra. Upon entering the apartment, I was struck by its vintage charm. The walls were adorned with faded floral wallpaper, and the air was tinged with a scent of aged wood, a harsh reminder of the building's long history. I dismissed any thoughts of unease, attributing them to my own imagination. After all, I had traveled thousands of miles for this adventure. That first night, however, was anything but ordinary. As I prepared for bed, I turned off the lights and nestled into the cool sheets, fatigue finally claiming me. But sleep eluded me. It was in the stillness of the night that I felt a curious presence. My heart raced as I heard the faintest rustle coming from the corner of the room. Just as I convinced myself it was merely the wind, a shadow caught my eye. There, at the foot of my bed, stood an elderly woman, draped in tattered garments that seemed more like memories than clothing. I blinked hard, hoping to shatter the illusion. But there she remained, silently gazing at me with hollow eyes. My blood ran cold, and I could scarcely draw breath. Was I dreaming? Had the tales of haunted places in Alexandria found me? As I turned to flick on the light, she vanished into the shadows, leaving nothing but the strange sense of being watched. Shaken, I convinced myself it was a figment of my imagination, a byproduct of a long day filled with new experiences. I soon surrendered to sleep, albeit fitfully. Morning light spilled into the room, dispelling the lingering chill of the night. I stumbled into the kitchen, hoping a cup of coffee would provide the antidote to my unrest. As I rummaged through the cupboards, something struck me as odd. The kitchen utensils, once neatly arranged, had been moved. A spoon lay on the counter, while the knife rack was askew. I brushed it off, maybe I had been careless in my unpacking. But as the day progressed, a mounting unease settled in my stomach. I decided to explore the vibrant streets of Alexandria to shake off the night's residual fear. The sights and sounds of the city were intoxicating, filled with the calls of street vendors and the aroma of fresh spices. Yet my mind kept drifting back to the apartment, to that elderly apparition. On returning, a suffocating atmosphere greeted me. The windows, once tightly shut, now stood ajar, flapping gently in the evening breeze. My heart raced as I hurried to secure them, locking each one with eager hands. That night, I was determined to sleep peacefully. Yet I was rudely awakened around midnight by the sound of soft footsteps, delicate yet unmistakable, tracing a path across the living room. Fear gripped me. I dared not move, frozen beneath my sheets. The haunting whispers began, soft and unintelligible, filling the air with an eerie resonance. I could swear they were beckoning me, tempting me to join them in whatever realm they inhabited. Driven by a mixture of dread and resolve, I quietly slipped out of bed and edged towards the door, trying to listen more intently. As I reached the threshold of my bedroom, I glanced back towards the living room. To my horror, I saw the old woman seated on the couch, her hollow eyes fixed on me. I retreated swiftly, slamming the door shut and leaning against it, my heart pounding in my ears. With dawn approaching, I could hear the whispers fading, replaced by the sounds of the city waking up. I knew anxiety could not last long. The thought of staying in that apartment a moment longer was unbearable. So, on the third day of my stay, I hastily packed my belongings, my hands trembling as I shoved clothes into my suitcase. As I departed, hesitation momentarily captured me. I glanced back at the apartment, a sense of sorrow mingling with the urgency of escape. The old woman, a guardian of long-forgotten secrets, seemed to watch me leave. Did she linger within those walls, eternally tethered to the past? The sun was high, radiant against the deepening blue of the Mediterranean sky, yet it brought me no comfort. I walked towards a nearby hotel, a safe haven from the haunting memories that cling like shadows to the recesses of my mind. At the hotel, I settled into a room where every sound felt ordinary, every shadow that danced across the walls mere trickery of the light. But I knew I would carry the weight of that experience with me, a traveler's tale steeped in fear and mystery. Even as I wandered the streets of Alexandria, taking in its beauty, I felt the oppressive gaze of the old woman upon me. Would I return to the apartment? I doubted it. The allure of Alexandria faded in the wake of my eerie encounter. For beneath its sun-kissed facade lay whispers of the past, memories too heavy to bear. And as I left the city behind, I realized that some stories belong to a realm far beyond our understanding, into the twilight where the living and the lost intertwine. If you are a fan of exciting and terrifying stories, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, so you don't miss out on anything new.